Hey everybody, welcome to Harmon Garage. It's day 5 of my 5 videos in a week challenge. I'm gonna do what I can to make today's video the best of all. Got a lot going on. I'm gonna try to get done all the stuff that I said we were gonna do yesterday that I didn't get to, and finish up a couple things that we already started. But we're gonna go through and get a whole bunch of stuff done today, so I'll do my best to get some filming in and keep you guys updated, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, the first thing we're going to do this morning is finish up the seat. My dad's over here to help me out, and we're going to stretch this back of the seat cover and hog ring it. I went over to the hardware store last night and they had a really nice set of hog rings and hog ring pliers, so I just went ahead and bought new ones. Then when we get done with that, we'll straighten this cover out a little bit and get it hog ringed, and then the seat will be done for now. I'm going to go ahead and get everything set up and then we'll get started on it. Well, as you saw in the time lapse, we got the seat back all hog ringed together, and if you're paying attention, I found the hog ring pliers and the hog rings. I got a piece of cardboard underneath and it's folded in half, and somehow that package got in between the two halves. So when we were looking and I picked it up and looked underneath, there was nothing underneath. But when I kneeled down on it to do the hog rings there, I kneeled down and something was stabbing me in the knee, and I picked the cardboard up and separated it, and there was my package. So we found the hog ring pliers and the hog rings, but the ones that I bought yesterday were actually better quality than the ones that came with the kit, so I went ahead and used those. But we got this side all done, or the back all done. It turned out really good. I'm really happy with it. And we went to hog ring the seat bottom, and when I put the cover on yesterday, I warmed it up in front of the space heater to make it pliable and stretched it over, and everything was fine when I left last night. Well, when we went to mess with it this morning, I looked at it and it has a tear in the material. It was down kind of under the frame, couldn't really see it. I was careful when I put the cover on. I don't think I tore it. I think maybe it had, when I heated it up and kind of stretched it out, it was stretched, and then once I got it on there and it cooled down, maybe it tightened up too much and tore it, or maybe I tore it. I don't know. But I got another seat cover ordered and it's on its way. But that's the best I can do with that for now. So we're going to get back on trying to get some stuff done on Longstep before it leaves Monday morning. And I'm going to, these are all the wires here that run to the back for the rear lights, the fuel tank, etc., etc. I'm gonna get those wires going, start getting them routed to the back, and then we'll hook up the ones that I can hook up, and the ones that I can't hook up right now, we're gonna take zip ties and zip tie them down here through this hole or something like that, where they won't be in the way for putting the bed on. I'm gonna get stuff set up, get started. I went ahead and unrolled my wires here that are going to the back, and I loomed them hopefully far enough to get down and back behind the cab, where the wires for the fuel tank are going to split out, because I'm going to bring them back to about right here, and then they'll run over this cross member and go to the fuel tank. So I'm going to go ahead and route them down under the cab and to the back, and then I'll turn the camera back on so you guys can see what I'm doing back there. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so I got the wires ran down, brought it down across here underneath the cab, came back. I teed off my wires for my fuel pump, routed them over. They come out right here. And then I got the wires going back that are gonna go to the taillights. I gotta finish luming them up and route them. The next thing I'm gonna do before I go ahead and run the wires and tie them up, it's like I did in earlier videos before we set the cab on and stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and take some glass cleaner and a rag and clean all the dirt and dust and everything off the frame, so when the bed gets set on it on Monday, the frame's clean underneath it. Then I won't have to get under there and try to scrub it with a bed on it. This frame sat for like 3 years before I got it, after it got powder coated. And so it had all that dust on it. It got rained on when it originally got brought here. It got rained on when we took it over to put the cab on. And then all the dust that's acquired sitting here in the shop, so it's pretty dusty. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some glass cleaner and a towel, clean the frame up really good, and then we'll finish running those wires. All right, I got the whole frame from the cab back cleaned up. And it kind of makes it look like a different truck. I haven't seen it all cleaned up and shiny since I got the truck. It's always been dusty. Cleaned up pretty good. Now that I got that done, I'm gonna go ahead and loom up my wires the rest of the way and run them out the back where they need to go. And then we'll zip tie them up back there, so when the bed's on and it comes back, I can go ahead and run them to the lights the way they need to be, route them across the back and all that, and hook them up to the lights. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up those wires, and then we'll hook up the fuel pump and the fuel sending unit. And I got a couple more wires under the hood I gotta address before it leaves, because they go to the vintage air. The ones that hook up to the battery, I still never finished hooking them up. They've just been draping here, and it can't really go on a trailer and go somewhere with those wires draping. I took all the engine wires that I haven't hooked up yet, I'm not quite ready to hook up yet, and routed them over and laid them on top of the motor, so they weren't laying down here on the steering shaft anymore. And that should just about do it. That'll have everything under the bed that I need to run, and all that ran. Everything on the fuel tank except for putting the filler neck on will be done. And then everything that's hanging up front and all that, I got some tools and stuff inside that I need to get taken out and put away. And then she'll pretty much be ready to go over and get to bed. I've got a bunch of other little stuff I can do. We'll see what time it is when I get done with the wiring stuff. But we had the washer reservoir came in. I can put that on. The mirrors came in. I could put them on, but I want to wait, and I think I want to wait until I get ready to put the glass and everything in and finish the doors to put the mirrors on. Because it doesn't really do any good to put them on right now, because they'll just be hanging there or something else to bump into by accident and whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and get going on getting this wiring routed and finished up, and we'll see what happens after that. You saw in the time lapse, I got the wiring run to the back, all loomed up, and these zip ties that I got holding it in aren't permanent. I'm going to be putting P-clamps or cable clamps, whatever you want to call them, all along for the fuel lines and the electrical wires and the tranny cooler lines and everything. but I don't have enough of them to do it, and nowhere close by has enough either. I'd have to buy like 2 at a time, and they'd run out before I had enough. So I ordered some online. Just waiting for them to come, but for the truck to go to the body shop on Monday morning, the wire ties will hold it just fine. You also saw in the time lapse that I got the fuel tank all wired up. It's done and good to go. And then I went ahead and got everything cleaned out and tied up in here. And I got my wires that were draped over up here tied up and out of the way so that they're not dragging or anything like that. So it's pretty much ready to go to the body shop Monday to get the bed put on. And then he's gonna have it for a couple days, do a couple things to it. And then when he's done with it, I'll get it back middle to end of next week. In the meantime, we've got plenty of other projects we can work on. I haven't been working on Project Hotshot, the 83 or 81, I don't remember what it is, C30 cabin chassis, because we have to do a lot of cutting, grinding, and welding on that one. And with Longstep sitting right next to it with fresh paint, I don't want to be cutting and grinding and welding on it. And the guy that owns it understands that. So maybe why Longstep's gone would be a good time to cut and grind and weld on that. And I also have old Project Dirty sitting over here, and paint drying, should be dry, curing, whatever. So I've got Dirty to work on also, and they're supposed to be bringing me some more parts for Dirty Monday morning also, and I should have plenty to do on that. I should be able to get that motor together, tranny bolted up, everything in the truck at least in a day or two. We may have more content coming on Hotshot. Well, we'll definitely have more content coming on Hotshot, but it may be next week. It may not be for a couple weeks. We'll have more content coming on Dirty here for sure next week, and maybe the next 2 weeks. And I'm gonna get one of my personal projects in here as soon as one of these leaves. I'm not gonna bring any other friend or customer work in for a little bit. I got my own projects I want to work on, and I've been really excited about doing those and filming those videos, and I keep taking in customer work and don't have space in the shop or the time to work on them. So after these 3 trucks leave, we're gonna have a lot of fun. I've got a huge project, and it's a really off-the-wall idea that I have, and it's gonna be something different. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna give away anything on it. It is a square body truck, but what I'm gonna do to it and what I'm gonna do with it will be a surprise. But on a high note, today is Friday, December 31st, and I have completely finished my 5 videos in 5 days challenge that I gave myself. May not have been the greatest content I've ever put up, but I made it through, and I'm proud of myself for doing it. What else can I say? Tomorrow's the 1st. My goal was to get to 1,000 subscribers by the 1st of the year. And I don't know what it is, but I was up to 990 subscribers, and then I dropped back down to 987, and then I went up to 989, and then I went back down to 987. So I don't know if it's people unsubscribing or a glitch in YouTube or what, but it doesn't look like I'm gonna make it. I'm not gonna let that deter me. I'm gonna keep going. We'll hit 1,000 eventually. I just not hitting the goal that I had planned. With all that being said, and the fact that there's a football game on that I'd like to be watching, and it's the end of the week and I'm tired, I'm gonna end this video here. So y'all have a good one, and we'll see you next time.